Right, let's talk about New Year's intentions, resolutions. Perhaps you are feeling, well, a bit sluggish after an indulgent Christmas, a new year. You might want to step into the new year with a new outlook, a new intention. Perhaps you're aiming for some new habits or trying to let go of some old ones. We've got a perfect panel of experts to give us some advice. With me, first of all, we've got Dr Linnea Patel, a dietitian and nutrition expert. We are also going to be speaking to Dr Lindsay Browning, a sleep expert at Trouble Sleeping and author of Navigating Sleeplessness. We've got Bourne Barracle, who's a fitness expert and founder of R Parks. Rosie Jackson, a personal trainer. Oh my goodness, just so many good habits between all of you that hopefully you can impart onto me and onto our listeners this morning. I'm going to bring in Lindsay. Lindsay, you're a sleep expert, and so many people battle with this. I think some just because of our age, our bodies, things change, environmental factors, and some because we actually just have some pretty bad habits, don't we, that just aren't conducive to good sleep. How do we achieve perfect sleep health?
Well, it's a great time of year. It really is to look at what's going on in your life, and sleep is one part of it. All of the aspects, all of the specialists you're talking to now, everything is important. We have to decide something to change. You don't have to change everything all at once. But if sleep is something that you realize isn't working for you, you're not getting enough sleep, and sleep impacts so many aspects of our physical health, our mental health. So if you're not getting enough sleep, you're likely to be feeling, full of anxiety, depression, not being as healthy as you want to be. So are you not getting enough sleep because you're not prioritizing it, which is really common? And typical problems are because you're staying up late on your phone or getting last minute work things done and not prioritizing your sleep. So if that's you and you're simply not giving yourself 7 to 9 hours in bed, there's no possible way you can get enough sleep if you're going to bed at midnight, getting up at 6. So go to bed giving yourself enough time to get enough sleep. But if you're somebody who can't sleep because you're tossing and turning and struggling, then maybe this new year is a time to think, okay, I'm going to speak to somebody and get my insomnia sorted out, because that's something you might need some additional help with.
Do we kid ourselves? I almost think there's a sort of bravado in some people saying, oh, I don't need more than 5 hours. Or, we hear about historical characters, don't we, in history and politics. I'm thinking Margaret Thatcher just didn't need more than about 4 hours and doing a really high-powered job. Is that just a myth?
Yes, there are very, very, very few people who are called short sleepers who can get away with less. But the reality is, science shows again and again that the sweet spot is somewhere between sort of like maybe 7, 8 to 9 hours sleep a night is what would give us the benefits that we need. That doesn't mean to say you can't survive on 5 hours. You absolutely can. Just like I can survive only eating junk food. I'm not thriving if I do that, but I am surviving. Equally, I can survive if I don't do any exercise, but I'm not going to be the best me. So yes, you can survive on 5 hours sleep. It is highly unlikely that's enough to give you the health benefits and make you be living your best life, basically.
Text us on 85058 if you've got any questions for our panel. There's a good text in here about sleep. One listener saying, hi, I listen to podcasts or audiobooks to help me get to sleep. And I've heard this referred to as junk sleep. Does listening to something to help you drop off decrease the quality of your sleep? Lindsay?
That's a great question. So if you're going through a particularly stressful time, maybe you've just gone through a breakup, then maybe you might want to listen to something as you fall asleep, because it will help distract your mind from those unwanted ruminations and those bad thoughts. However, if you are listening to something as you fall asleep, that sound is still happening as you're asleep. And if we are falling asleep, we need silence. We sleep best in silence and darkness. So of course, if you're listening to a podcast, an audiobook, even though it might be helping you to fall asleep by distracting you from those unwanted thoughts, once you've fallen asleep, the thing you're listening to doesn't realize you've fallen asleep, and it will continue playing, and that can disrupt the quality of the sleep that you're getting. That's probably what they mean by junk sleep. So, in the short term, it's not the end of the world if it's helping you, but if you're relying on listening to podcasts long term, it actually can start to become unhelpful, because if you wake up in the night, you'll need to reach for that podcast, that audiobook again to get you back to sleep again. And once you do fall asleep, your sleep quality might be compromised. So it's a good idea to try to think of other ways to fall asleep that don't involve having to listen to something.
Oh, Lindsay, I'm so guilty of this. I always listen to podcasts or kind of little bits of radio comedy or something like that to fall asleep to. But I kind of try to finely tune the sleep timer that I will only. It will be playing for as little time as possible after I fall asleep. Sometimes I fall asleep in the theme tune. But that's because I do ridiculous hours.
Yeah, and if it works for you, it's the kind of thing that if it's working for you, you don't have to worry about it too much. But if it's not working, then perhaps look for other strategies that might actually be better.
But I just want to maybe leave some people with an easy takeaway. Lindsay, let's go back to you when it comes to sleep. If you wanted to give people just one thing to do to improve their sleep, what would it be?
Well, make sure that you're getting enough time in bed. That's really important. And move, like your experts have been talking about. People who exercise tend to sleep better. It's not a guarantee, but it's one of those things that if you get out and you get moving, you're likely to improve your physical health, your mental health, and you're likely to improve your sleep as well. So go out and get moving. That would be a big bit of advice. Just move.